You may not have heard of Israel's biblical heartland or Judea and Samaria, but have you heard of the West Bank? How about the occupied territories? Most people have heard these terms. The crazy part out is the world is obsessed with the piece of real estate we're standing on right now, but no one actually knows anything about the actual area. Countless world leaders have tried to give away this land to Israel's enemies, and there's supposed to be wars and constant fighting happening here on the ground, but the reality of what is actually going on is indeed much, much different. Welcome to episode 2 of this Judea and Samaria series. Today we are in the Norden Samarias area. We're going to go even farther north, take you to the far north tip. But one of the goals is to show you guys the borders of Israel's heartland, what the world wants to make the West Bank or a Palestinian state. This is an amazing, amazing overlook where we're going to overlook the coastal region of Israel, more in the Norden Samarias area. So come on, guys, let's go. On the camera. Go ahead and record on the camera. You can see all the way out to the coast here.
So from this point to the coastline, there's several small strips right in this area. Israel's shortest border, if this was created into be a terrorist state, then we would have 9 miles. So if you want to talk about, is that defensible? Nobody in the world would ever say that that's possible.
That's crazy.
You cannot defend a 9-mile strip. And that's also given that the 9 miles is in the lowlands, and we're sitting on the highlands overlooking it. From this vantage point that we're sitting now, this would be a very strategic point for any one of the terrorist organizations that thrive in this area. Jenin is just right here.
We're also not in a really populated area. We're kind of in a hilltop in a little closed-in area that would be this is typical places from in Gaza where Hamas put their little rocket launching sites and launch out, except in Gaza you can't see what they're shooting at, and from here we can see
right in front of us
all the way into population centers. It's kind of a myth that Israel could actually provide security to prevent these rockets from being imported or built, because in Gaza, Israel actually has very tight control, a very small, demographically small area, and Israel has very tight control over what comes in and out, and they still somehow manage to build tens of thousands of rockets, and some of them are getting really high tech.
Right.
That launch over the border over and over and over again. And here in Samaria, the borders would actually be much broader, and the opportunity to smuggle in material from other countries would be much, much, much broader.
Caesarea is almost directly west, and it just blows my mind that we're not even at the northern tip of what they would call the West Bank, and we're across from Caesarea. We're already north of Netanya. It just blows my mind. Nobody has a clue that this much area of this big of a geographical location of Israel is what the world wants to make a Palestinian state.
From here, we're going to go to the Green Line border crossing here at the northern tip of the Shomron, where thousands of Arabs cross over into Israel every single day to work inside of Israel.
So we're still in Northern Samaria. We're just driving towards Mevo Dotan, which is one of the 2 Jewish communities over here, just to check out the area and see what it's like. Very rocky, just empty kind of land out here. Very pretty, lots of open space. There's not a population issue in Judea and Samaria, for sure. The 500,000 Israelis that live here in no way overcrowd the area. I think it's 2% of Judea and Samaria that's actually inhabited, something like that, right? Or no, it's 2% inhabited by Israelis, 38% by Arabs, 60% open land. And what we're looking at right now is a lot of open land.
How you know we're coming up on a Jewish community is there's a touch sensor fence around the outside of it. You'll never find anywhere in any Arab town, anywhere, village, you name it, will never have a touch sensor fence around it. And there for all the smart people of the world, you could cipher very quickly the issue.
So we're driving along, we found this really pretty valley out here. I'm gonna throw the drone up out here and see just a little bit of how crazy empty Northern Samaria is. There's kind of a big myth about overpopulation here in Judea and Samaria. There's just people piled up on top of each other, but it's not true in the least. So you can see here on the drone, we're here in the valley, and we have communities up here on the hilltops. And if we swing up really high in the air, look at this valley. Just look at that. All up here in northern Samaria. I'm just gonna swing the drone around to the left and just look at these open spaces. It's insane. These little dotted Jewish communities up on just a couple of the hilltops. Let's see if I swing around behind. This is the valley we're in right now. And just look at that. I'm just gonna push into the valley. This is what we're talking about here in Judea and Samaria. This is the insanity of what the world makes Judea and Samaria out to be. So crazy.
All right, this is kind of crazy here. This is a big bust because most people don't know that the Arabs living in Judea and Samaria, hey, look at all these cars. What in the world are they all doing here? Well, we're on the border. This is the border between West Bank, so-called, and Israel proper. All of these Arabs, none of them have citizenship in Israel, but they're all working in Israel because they can get 10 times the money working over there as opposed to working over here.
The stats, they say there's around 150,000 Palestinians that work, living in Judea and Samaria and in Gaza that work inside of Israel, so across the Green Line in Israeli cities. And there's somewhere between like 23 to 34,000 Palestinians that work inside of Area C, which is the Israeli settlements inside of Judea and Samaria. So obviously there's a lot of Palestinians, 100, 170, 180,000 Palestinians at least, that are working for Israelis, for Jews, because they can make way more money than they can inside of their own towns and the cities in Gaza. They're making very, very low wages in all these West Bank areas.
So here's the point. So if they make more money in Israel proper, that's because, hey, Israel proper, there's Jewish sovereignty there. So another note for you, how about Jewish sovereignty here? And how about let's just stop making them, look, they're all, many thousands are working on the other side anyway. Let's declare Jewish sovereignty on this side. Let's help Israel to say, yes, a big voice from the nation saying, hey, sovereignty in your ancient homeland's a good idea. Hey, even these Arabs are benefiting, and they would actually like it, believe it or not. They would like to work, and they would love a sovereign Israel to bring the prosperity that's on that side to this side. Guys, another big one. You can't escape. What we're seeing here in this incredibly massive parking lot is that the Arabs themselves actually are appreciating the affluence, the prosperity that's going on in the Jewish community, and they want it. And matter of fact, they would actually appreciate it here.
We are here on the northernmost border of Judea and Samaria. Behind this fence right here is what the world likes to call the West Bank. We are at the northernmost tip point of Judea and Samaria. I wanted to show you guys this because it's mind-blowing. Our minds were blown, even though we're here all the time and this is what we do. From here, the northernmost part of Samaria, it's only 13 miles to Beit Shean. If you've been on a tour to Israel, you've probably been there. It's only 23 miles to the Sea of Galilee, 39 miles to Israel's Lebanon border, which is straight north from here, 42 miles to Tel Aviv right over here. Guys, Israel just got a whole lot smaller. If they were to give up this area and make it a Palestinian terrorist state, all of this area, all of this wide open area, Israel's biblical heartland, would be gone and Israel would be absolutely chopped in half.
So what happens if Israel decides, as we're saying, to declare sovereignty on this area, just across from this fence here? If this whole area of Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria become an integral part of the land of Israel, if they say this, we're going to declare sovereignty here now, what happens to the some 2 million Arabs living there?
Here's an idea. Expel all of the Arabs, all of the terrorists that are fully terrorist against the state of Israel, anybody who teaches or supports violence against Jews, against Israel, against Israelis, the civilians living here, and then create a path, create a journey for the rest of the Palestinians to become residents of Israel and be integrated into Israeli society.
This would start Israel's biblical heartland on a journey of economic prosperity that would massively benefit everyone here, both Jews and Arabs. So sovereignty here in Judea and Samaria would ultimately help everyone, would be the best option for everyone here.